Hey guys, welcome to Technology Backers. I am Siddharth Dhanetwal. I am a AWS certified developer and AWS certified solutions architect. Okay, so in this video, AWS IAM, IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. We'll see what are the roles, what are the users, and what are the groups and policies in IAM. First, we'll see a quick overview on IAM, and then we will go into Management Console and see into in a practical lab and get our hands dirty. Okay, so let's get started. So IAM is AWS Identity and Access Management web service that helps you to securely control access to AWS resources. You use IAM to control who is authenticated and authorized to use any resource. So basically, the use of IAM is to give access to a user or a service to access any other AWS service. So this is the basic service you use for any other AWS service. So let's, for example, you want to access a EC2 instance. So the user accessing EC2 instance should have the permission to access that EC2 instance. So these are the IAM components, uh, users, groups, policies, and roles. Let's see them in little bit detail. So this is a how you can access IAM. So accessing IAM can be achieved through four ways. One is AWS Management Console, means through web portal. Another is AWS command line tools through a CLI tool, and through AWS SDKs, software development kits. The SDKs are available in different languages like Java, .NET, and other. And the fourth one is using IAM HTTPS APIs. Okay, so what is an IAM user? An IAM user is an entity that you create in AWS to represent a person or a service that uses it to interact with AWS. A user in AWS consists of a name and credentials. So here Raj is a user who is an admin who can access S3, IAM and EC2 services. We will see this in more in the lab. IAM groups. An IAM group is a collection of IAM users. Groups let you specify permissions for multiple users, which can make it easier to manage the permissions for those users. So let's say in your organization there for in your product you have two groups. One is developer group, one is admin group. So in developer group, Sam, Daniel, and Martin is there. So you can assign the same permission level to all these users under a developer group. So you don't have to go to each user like Sam and then Daniel, then Martin, and assign the permissions to all these users. Instead, just assign the permission to developer group and assign these three users under one developer group. So by default, automatically, all these three users will have the same permissions. Same with the admin group. What is IAM policy? A policy is an entity in AWS that attached to an identity or a resource, defines their permissions. AWS evaluates these policies when a principal, such as a user, makes a request. Permissions in the policies determine whether the request is allowed or denied. Here, the policies are stored in AWS as JSON documents, attached to principals as identity-based policies or to resources as resource-based policies. So here example you can see here its statement is effect is allow, action is S3. So this list bucket is list all the buckets and resources. So here there is an example bucket, a bucket named example bucket is there. So uh, this policy means a user can list all the buckets present in your account. Okay, so now I'll go to roles. Okay, so an IAM role is similar to a user in that it is an AWS. identity with permission policies that determine what the identity can and cannot do in AWS. However, instead of being unequally associated with, of being uniquely associated with one person, a role is intended to be assumable by anyone who needs it, like with any AWS service. Okay, so roles will understand with this diagram. So roles, let's say there is a EC2 instance who want to access a S3 bucket. So we will give a role, let's say list S3 bucket, a role name list S3 buckets, and we'll assign this role to the EC2 instance. So by assigning this role to EC2 instance, now EC2 instance can list all the S3 buckets present in that account. So this is one way to understand what is roles. Okay, now we'll go directly into the lab in Management Console and see all these things working. Okay, so I just typed aws.amazon.com. So here, if you don't have an account till now, you just go and create and click on create an AWS account. There you will be asked for basic information and your credit or debit card details. Just put in there and create your account. I'll go directly to AWS Management Console. Okay, so here we are. So here you have to put your root user account. I'll tell you in a moment what is a root user account. So click next. Okay, now type in your password. Okay, so this was the root user sign in. So this is the root user that get created when you create your account. That means when you give your basic email ID and your information and you give your credit card or debit card details. So that time a user got created. So this is the credentials that time generated. So I am here. So is this video is getting recorded in December 2017. So this is the latest UI. AWS continuously changes its UI. So I click on IAM service. I searched it and clicked on IAM. Okay, so currently, I don't have any user groups or roles for this video purpose. So, and the security status is also is telling that these are the warning consideration that delete your root access keys, activate MFA, create individual IAM users, and so on. So we should consider these to be fixed. So after completing this video, you can able to see all these things as fixed. Okay. So this is the dashboard and this is the IAM user sign-in link. So you can customize it also. Just click here and just delete it and write your own alias name, anything you write. Otherwise, this will show you. Otherwise, this will be your account number instead of account alias demo. Your account number will be displayed and that you can't remember. So instead you can just customize it and you can keep your alias name. Okay, so let's first go to users and understand the user. Okay, so just click on add user. Okay, so give a username, let's say Jack. So now here there are two types of accesses. One is programmatic access, one is AWS Management Console access. So this is what AWS Management Console. So if you click here, you will be you will be set like okay, set your password and so on, because for console you need a password. Okay, so let's say I type it here, my password. Okay, I will just uncheck this thing, and this is programmatic access. So enables an access key ID and secret access key for the AWS API, CLI, and SDK and other development tools. So if you want to create a user that is just you want that user to access the AWS services using some SDKs like AWS SDK or through CLI or HTTP request, you have to just click it on programmatic access only, and the user will be given programmatic access. But if you want both, you can just click here and just type in your password and go to next permissions. So there can be you can attach permissions for Jack using three ways. One is add user to a group, but till now we have not created any group. We'll see in a moment. Copy permission from existing user. So this is a fresh user. You can't copy permissions from any existing user. The third one will do, that is attach existing policies directly. So I want this user to get a administrator access. So I'll directly click it here. Otherwise, you can search any access, any policies here also, like Amazon S3 full access. So, but for now, we want the administrator access. So I just clicked in here, and you can select multiple also here. Click on next review. Okay, so just review your user and click on create user. Okay, now as you remember, we have clicked programmatic access. So .csv file is generated. So you can just download .csv file. So this file will have access key ID and secret access key. Please don't share with anyone. So these are the credentials you use to access any AWS service through this user from a CLI based or from AWS SDK. Just close it. So a user has been successfully created here. Okay, now I'll go to groups. Let's see what is a group. Create new group. Let's say I create a group name developers. Mm, Click on next. Now what you want for developer? Okay, I want EC2 full access. I want this developer to get EC2 full access. Okay, so this policy has been attached to this group. Create group. Okay, now go to users. Now there is a new person coming, and let's say his name is Martin. I want him to have a programmatic access, and I want, and he is a developer. So I'll attach Martin into developers group so that he will have EC2 full access. I'm just taking this EC2 full access just as an example, but yeah, a developer will need more than EC2 full access. Okay, so the use of groups is whenever a new person comes, anyone, and if he is a developer, you can just click on add user and assign him into the group, that is developer group. So just assign, you don't have to remember what all policies your developer says, just assign into your developer group. Okay, so now users and groups has been completed. Now go to roles. So I'll create a role. So as I told you, so role is a web service that IAM identity that helps you to attach a role to any AWS service. Let's say I want EC2 instance. So this is the EC2 web service. I want to attach, uh, uh, I want to do EC2 can access or list all the S3 buckets. Okay, so now you will see here S3, Amazon S3 full access. Okay, next review, just give your role name. So we what we created here, we created a role that say EC2 have a full access on S3. So this EC2 instance can uh, create a bucket, delete a bucket, list all the buckets, and all whatever the policies permissions this policy has. So he can this EC2 can do anything, whatever mentioned in policy. So this is what roles. There is one more part in roles. This thing we created from a AWS service. There is another thing, another AWS account. So let's say there are two parts in a product. There one is developer accounts, one is production accounts. So you don't want to give direct access to production app to developers. So developer account is separate. So you can just put it here. Let's say this is a production account. Just put it here, the developer account ID. You can get it from, just click on my account under this head, and you can get your account ID. It will be in numbers. Just put it here. Let's say something. Okay. And then click on next permissions. So you can just click on whatever permission you want and just click on create. So that permission will be given to the developer account. Now developer with that account ID can directly access to the production app. So this is called assume role. Another is web identity. Here you can provide identity provider like Facebook, Google, Amazon Cognito, and using that ID, users can access any AWS service. And the fourth one is SAML. Okay, so let's go back to IAM console. Okay, so the fourth thing is policies. So these are the policies associated already created, and like this allow all S3 set. This is a custom managed. You can see here these are AWS managed and these are customer managed. So what is there in, let's say what is there in S3 read only access. Okay, so policies are being written in JSON only. So it says allow, effect is allow, action is S3 get and list. So these two functions can be run with this policy, get all the buckets and list all the buckets, and these are the resources. Asterisk means all. Okay, and you can create your own policy also. So for this you have to just select the service. Let's say S3, select actions. I just want to list all the buckets. There is one error. Okay, let's say I clicked on EC2, select actions. I just want a list of all EC2 instances running. Okay, just give your policy name list EC2. instances. So now you can see your new policy here. Okay, so here is the thing, list EC2 instances. So this policy has been created and these are the actions that has been attached to this policy. These are all the allow actions. Okay, so now these four things has been covered. Another thing is account settings. So this is a password policy. You should maintain a password policy. Okay, so I'll tell you what is there. So this is a like require at least one uppercase letter. So this is a policy. Require at least one lowercase letter. So these are the things. Okay, when I click on this is a simple password policy. When I click on apply password policy, and yeah, there's one more thing that uh, enable password expiration. So this is just a simple policy. Let's say after 90 days, you have to expire this password. After apply password policy, just go to dashboard. Now you can see apply an IAM password policy is has been green tick. So this has been applied and delete your root access keys. This is another thing. You should delete your root access keys. Click on access keys. Okay, so this is the secret access key. You should delete it because this is for root account. Just delete it. Yes. Okay. Go to dashboard again. Did your this task is also completed. One remaining task is activate multi-factor authentication on your root account. So what is multi-factor authentication? Multi-factor authentication is another layer of security to your application, to your account. So you can click on manage MFA. So this can be done in by two ways, either selecting a virtual MFA device or a hardware MFA device. You must have heard of like RSA token and all. So that RSA token is a hardware MFA device. Otherwise, a virtual MFA device is just an application like a Google Authenticator. You can download it from Play Store and just use it. Okay. To activate a virtual MFA device, you must first install an AWS MFA compatible application on the user's smartphone, PC, or other device. You can find a list of AWS MFA compatible applications here. Okay, so I clicked it here, so you can get the link from that help. Okay, so here we are virtual MFA device. So these are the specifications and the price mentioned here. Okay, so virtual MFA device. So I have an Android phone, so I'll use a Google Authenticator. Just install this Google Authenticator. After successful installation of Google Authenticator, click on next step. Scan this barcode from that application. After successful scanning, you can see two authentication codes on your device. Just enter one by one authentication code one displayed on your mobile and then another authentication two displayed on the same device and just click activate virtual MFA. Then uh, your account will be secured. So this will be secured using the uh, MFA. Okay, guys, so these were the things mainly in identity and access management. We'll go back to the summary. So here's the summary of IAM. So in this video, we saw IAM is an AWS web service to manage authentication authorization to users and AWS services. IAM basically consists of users, groups, roles, and policies. IAM is global. Yeah, this is very important. IAM is global, not region specific. Root account gets automatically created at the time of account creation and it has admin access. Access key ID and secret access key is different from user account passwords. Access key and secret access key is used to programmatic access to AWS services. So guys, this was a lecture on AWS IAM. Hope you liked the lecture. You can refer this lecture if you're preparing for AWS Certified Developer or AWS Certified Solution Architect exam. Most of the questions will ask from this video only. And if you like this video, please like it and share it. And also, yeah, you can, if you interested in Bitcoin technology, blockchain technology, you can just view another video in this channel only, that is blockchain with demo. Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed.